Hey, is what is happening, y'all? It is me coming back at you again with another live stream vid. We got lots to talk about yesterday's fight card between the Zone and PBC, and I think there was also a fight card in Dubai, which was hosted by MTK Global I think it was under Richard Schaefer's promotion as well, which I think that was a co-promoted event in Dubai, would feature Badu Jack fighting at cruiserweight against I forgot who the guy name is, but needless to say, I'm not really gonna get into that particular card because that was just a showcase card. That's all it was. Needless to say. First things first, let's start off with the Zone fight between Teofimo Lopez versus George Kamboses. Let's just say this fight was long overdue for over a year now since the IBF had ordered the fight. Now, let me just say this. In case some of you may have not known or heard, or everybody should have known already what the result was. George Kamboses beats Teofimo Lopez in a 12-round split decision upset. Where do I start here? Where do I start, I should say? First things first, I'm seeing some uploaders say that this was a cherry pick fight with Teofimo Lopez on Kamboses. That is further from the truth. The truth is, as I just mentioned moments ago, is that this was an IBF mandatory fight. Teofimo was ordered to fight Kamboses. If he refused to take the fight, then he had to vacate his belt. Plain and simple. So this wasn't a cherry pick gone wrong. This is more of a taking your opponent very lightly. That was the downfall of Teofimo Lopez last night. So let me just say this. The second I'm going to say is that the way that Lopez and his camp approached the fight for a whole year now, it seems to me that they really didn't train for this fight. Let's be realistic, because as soon as the opening bell, after the opening bell, I should say, Teofimo came out gun blazing in that first round. Gun blazing. I mean, he was like loaded up on every shot and was trying to get, Kamboses out of there in the first round. And I said to myself, it's like, wait a minute, hold on here. Now, let's be fair. I didn't think Kamboses was going to last no later than 8 rounds, but salute to Stormy B and all of the mighty in the chat. Let me just say this. George Kamboses, I've seen him fight against Mickey Bay. I've seen him fight against Lee Selby. Yes, I thought there was nothing special in there, but he did have very good fundamentals, and he has very good punch resistance. Now, some would argue that he hasn't fought big punchers because Lee Selby's not a puncher. Mickey Bay's a respectable puncher, but he's not a big puncher. So how can you say that his punch resistance is good? Well, here's the thing. He sparred Manny Pacquiao several times. He sparred Sergey Lipinets several times, which are far bigger punches than Lee Selby and Mickey Bay. I know sparring is one thing, but this man has sparred all over the world and been in the sparring camps with many great fighters, even welterweights. His father even brought this up in a post-fight interview when he said that, look, I told my son if he wants to be a great fighter in this business, if he wants to be considered a great, he can't stay in Australia. What he mean by that is that we could have stayed in Australia and pad our record, up to 26 fights, whatever the case may be. But I told my son if he wants to be good, if he wants to prove himself, he's got to go to America. He's got to train with the best. He's got to learn from the best in America. And that's exactly what Kamboses did. Now, did that translate into yesterday's fight? Absolutely. Because Kamboses waited a whole year with all the tribulations, with the Trilla fallout, how they, blundered this, how they, putting this fight promotion together. Then Top Rank, not Top Rank, the Matchroom had was awarded the fight due to the fact that they came in second to the bidding of the fight, whatnot. So, and here's the thing. I know Teofimo. Let me just get into the fight before I get into all the aftermath of the fight, because I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself. The first round, like I mentioned, Teo was gun blazing. I don't know what the hell he was doing. I don't know why he thought he could come out there and just go out gun blazing and think he could get Kamboses out of there. That wasn't going to happen. I'm just being honest. Even though I didn't give Kamboses to last no later than 7-8 rounds, I thought that Teo was going to fight the fight that he fought Lomachenko in the fight that he fought Comey. Even though Comey lasted about 3 rounds, 2 or 3 rounds, I think it was 2 rounds. Even though that fight only lasted 2 rounds, but he was patient in those 2 fights, and he was able to pick his opponents apart. Place the shots together, not rush in, not lunge in, not be reckless or careless, not have no regard. Be more defensive minded too, in some extent, to some sense. But this was not the guy who fought Comey and Lomachenko. I'm looking at, well, where's this coming from? Going out guns blazes against a guy like Kamboses. And what happened? When he tried to load up and try to get Kamboses out in the first round, what happened? Teo got careless, even though he was winning the round. But next thing you know, he got caught with an overhand right, a very good overhand right by Kamboses. It put Teo down. Put him down in that round. Okay? Second round. Teo got his legs back, obviously. He won that round on my card, even though Kamboses made that round a bit competitive. But Teo won that round. Then rounds 3, I gave to Kamboses. Round 4, I gave to Kamboses. Round 5, I gave to Kamboses. Round 6, it was a close round, so I might swing it over to Teofimo. And then the 7th round, I gave to Kamboses. Round 8, swing round. You can argue Kamboses or Teo. I gave it to Teo slightly. Round 9, Teo. Round 10, Teo. Then the last 2 rounds, Kamboses pretty much dominated those last 2 rounds, the championship rounds, as you want to call it. And that's my card. 7-5, 115, 112. That's a score. If you want to score it 116 to actually 115 to actually no, 114, 112 is my score. If you want to score it 115 to 111, then I have no problem with that, because one of those middle rounds were swing, a couple of those rounds, but you can also argue that Kamboses won that middle rounds of those fight. Middle rounds of that fight, I should say. So the one thing that's mind-boggling is that when the scorecards are read, and it was a split decision, and I'm like, oh boy, maybe there's going to be some fuckery going on around here, because Kamboses obviously won the fight. But anyways, one score read at 114 to 113 for Teo. I don't know how you can come up with that score. And then you have the other 2 judges scored at 115 to 112 and 115 to 111, with awarding the fight to Kamboses. Now, those 2 judges that gave Kamboses the first round, which he did win the round, they both scored it 10-9. I'm like, well, wait a minute, how do you score a 10-9 round when Kamboses is the one who got the knockdown? I don't get it. That right there is very mind-boggling to me. I don't know how you could come up with that situation. I know some will argue, well, Teo dominated that first round before he got caught. Yeah, but I've seen many fights where fighters are dominating a round and then we get caught and they lose badly on a 10-8 score. I've seen it many times, so I don't understand why this was an exception, but it is what it is. But I found that kind of strange. But anyhow, the aftermath. Teo going out there trying to hijack the post-fight interview when Kamboses was giving to Chris Mannix, right? He comes out there talking about, I won the fight. Fuck what everybody's thinking. I don't give a damn what anybody say. I won the fight. I won it 10-2. I got the short end of the stick. That's what him and his father are coming out saying. They got the short end of the stick. They should never have gone to the zone. They should have stayed with Top Rank. Yada, 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 yada. No. This is what happened. And Kamboses is, one thing he doesn't get credit for is his psychology. His psychology when it comes to the sport of boxing. He is a very knowledgeable guy, believe it or not. Of course, his father kind of ingrained that into him. One thing Kamboses said leading up to this fight, over a year or so. Yeah, I'm gonna drop the link. What's up, EJ? His father said, not his father. Kamboses told Teo in the leading up in those pressers leading up to the fight, said, "Hey, look, man, I don't think you're gonna have trouble making that weight." And that's probably the reason why this fight got delayed so many times, because Teo's been having trouble making weight. I don't believe the COVID theories. Maybe it is true, maybe it isn't. But I do find it kind of concerning that Teo pulled out the fight the first time around. It was due to COVID. I know some people are citing ticket sales. That's also a possibility. However, Kamboses believed that, look, I think he's just having trouble making weight. I think that's the reason why he pulled out. He just can't make the weight. He's having a hard time doing it. And then next year, Teo goes in. I think he was spotted somewhere, vacationing somewhere, I believe, in Italy. few days after he pulled out of the fight due to the fact that he had COVID, nah, something was not right there with that pullout. I call that suspect. I know a lot of Teal fans thought they were, saying that's crazy, Dan. You really believe those theories? I'm like, well, look, man, I just find it kind of concerning that he pulls out of the fight due to COVID, and then here he is showing up in Italy in vacation somewhere with his wife, with his girl. Okay? Now, anyhow, George Kamboses said, dude, I don't think I think you're having problems making that weight, and that's going to translate in our fight. And that's what he told him. And he also told him that your downfall in this fight is that you got rid of your best crew after you beat Lomachenko. You changed. You got rid of all your good peoples. You got rid of Joey Gamache. Why the fuck you get rid of Joey Gamache? Why did you get rid of Joey Gamache? He was the guy, he was the architect who helped Lopez, who was a who helped Lopez beat Lomachenko. Now, here's the thing I would suggest. Anybody who has any idea, who wants to have insight on how to be a southpaw, go talk to Joey Gamache. That's my advice. Talk to Joey Gamache because he can teach you how to be a southpaw, or either Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. I'm not sure if he's in the game anymore, but still, though, Joey Gamache, go find him as a trainer. Very good trainer. He can teach you how to be the southpaw. He can teach you how to beat other styles. He's seen it all. Okay? So, anyhow, to appoint his father, Teal Sr., as a head trainer, that was a big mistake. Horrible mistake. And that translated in last night's fight. His father, they're all making these excuses. And Teal talking about, I'm not the man making excuses. I don't know my losses, but I got shorted in the stick, yada, yada, yada. And then when he was asked about the rematch, Kamboses is like, look, man, you're being delusional, which he is. But hey, I give you respect, but let's do it again. Let's do it again. This time we're going to Australia. Let's go to my backyard. We'll do it in front of 80,000 people. Let's do it again. And then T.O.'s like, nah, I'll have to think about that. I'm going to spend time with my kid. I haven't really spent a lot of time with him. I know he was born 11 days ago. I mean, look, congratulations to T.O. becoming a father, but dude, that was a weird statement right there. But anyhow, the one thing I would say is, though, T.O. is a hypocrite in this situation. You know the reason why I say that? Is because he's a guy that went out there and blasted Deontay Wilder for all the bullshit excuses that he came up with and the conspiracy theories on how he lost the second fight to Tyson Fury. And rightfully so. Wilder needed to be called out on it. He called Wilder a bitch and told him that he needed to own up and own up his loss like a man. Well, what do you know, T.O.? Why aren't you taking heed to your own advice, bro? I like you as a fighter, but don't sit around and be a hypocrite and call out one fighter for not taking his loss as a man. And here you are doing the same thing that he did. Coming up with all kind of excuses how you lost that fight. The reason why you lost that fight is because you were ill prepared. You didn't take Kamboses very lightly. You thought you was easy work. You thought all you could do was just make the weight for the fight, which you struggled at doing, by the way. And Kamboses actually brought this up, as I said again, which you did. And that was it. That was your downfall. And I could see that in the first round. You guys were trying to get him out of there because you didn't properly prepare for that fight against him. And that was a bad mistake. So, yeah, this is just, a bad omen of karma that came at you. It was coming, bro. I know some would argue that you should have stayed with Top Rank when they tried to put the fight together. Yeah, you felt you were going to get underpaid, but maybe, just maybe, if this was a Top Rank card, you would have got the benefit of the doubt with the judges on the scoring. You probably would have. Now, where do you go from here? Well, obviously, he said he ain't taking 135 anymore. He said that, they've been draining me a lot. So you could tell he didn't look quite healthy in that weigh-in. And it also, again, it translated to the fight last night. Now he's moved up to he's going to move up to 140. Kiss that David Haney fight goodbye. Kiss it goodbye. Does that mean that will it ever happen? No, never say never. But to be fair, David Haney himself has admitted that he struggled making 135 himself. So I think we can see the jump, not only with Teofimo Lopez, but Devin Haney. Depends how well he looks against Jojo Diaz. Now, I know a lot of people talk about Haney versus Kamboses, but look, that's not a far-going conclusion yet because Haney still got to get past Jojo Diaz, and that's a very dangerous fight right there. Now, if Jojo pulls that out, oh boy, the year of upsets will continue to happen. That's all I can say. Now, Speaking of rematches, was there a rematch clause in this fight between Kamboses and Lopez? The answer is no. The reason why is because this was a mandatory fight. No rematch clauses didn't need to be inserted here. So, yeah. Let me drop the link. I know EJ's waiting for it. Some other guys. What's up, Rock89? Stormy V. Let me see if anybody want to come in. And Blood, I know Blood might be shorting up shortly. Let me get in and put in the link for the other guys to get in. So, very good win for Kamboses. I think at this point of his life and career now, the next fight that he should have it in Australia. I think he's deserved that right because he's traveled to former champions and current champions. Well, Teofimo, that is. What's up, Brown Gone? He's traveled in their backyard against all odds and beat them with no advantages whatsoever, and he's beaten them. So I think at this point of his career, he's the champion. He deserves to call the shots. He should have the fights in Australia. That's it. He's earned that right. So let's just say hypothetically, let's just say hypothetically, if Teofimo Lopez does decide, okay, I want to take the rematch, which I doubt he will do, then that fight's got to be in Australia. Sorry, it's got to be in Australia. And I'm not the guy who always going to say that the champion should always have things 100% his terms. But in this case, I think Kamboses deserved that right, given the fact that he's traveled to every former champion and a champion's backyard back to back. He did it 3 straight fights. First against Mickey Bay, first against Lee Selby, which he was an underdog in both of those fights, by the way. And ironically, he won in both those fights by split decision. And this fight against Teofimo Lopez, he won by split decision. Oh my goodness. And the one exception I do have to comment that he made, him and his father, Kamboses and his father, they both said that, look, I'm the greatest, no disrespect, but I'm the greatest Australian fighter of all time. But I think Jeff Fennick and Costa Tszyu will have something to say about that. But they're gonna have something to say about that. I know Jeff Fennick may go off on that one. Kamboses. Costa Tszyu, he's more quiet, but Jeff Fennick was more vocal. But hey, what's up, EJ?
Yeah. And also you got the other Australian, the guy, Jeff Harden as well, the one who beat Dennis Andrews.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
Another guy as well. He's another Australian as well. But yeah, listen, bro, that's what you call where a guy's been sleeping in silk sheets and enjoying his win. And at some point in the line here, like he's about money and stuff like that. Bob Arum said we weren't going to pay him a certain amount of money. And that's why the fight was on different platforms. First, it was going to be on Triller. And then Eddie Hearn bought the rights to the fight. And that guy what's his name? The Australian guy. What's his name again?
Kamboses.
Yeah, Kamboses. Yeah, he been on the road winning the fights on the road. Hey, no one gave him a chance to beat Teofimo Lopez. Everyone's like he hits too hard. Yada. But what the only thing is the guy was blown up. He was on his own smoke. He was smelling his own smoke, man. He come into that fight loving his own work. You know what I mean? You see these highlight knockouts of this guy, that guy, but really and truly, elite guys, he ain't knocked out. And like I said, like Cormier looked like he was cold.
Right.
He caught him. Yamagata, the Japanese guy, he went the distance with him. Thingy, all you know to do is work rate. So
Nakatani,
Yagatami, but against like top elite guys, he ain't proven that he's knocking them out. Now this Kamboses, like, you ain't fought no one, but you can see this guy's a tough, gritty guy. If you didn't come with your work thing, he was gonna beat you, and that's what he did. He overwhelmed him. He just had a better game plan, and the corner was better. You pointed out that the guys he got rid of, but I know why he got rid of them. And the dad got rid of them because you want to pay them. That's what it comes down to. Like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, but that was a terrible. See, this is why I always say though, the silk pajamas, sleeping in a king size bed and silk sheets and all that shit. The Marvin Hagler saying, this is what happens when fighters get that big dough, that they get their huge payday. They become complicit after that. And like I said though, I think they didn't train for this fight. All they were trying to do was make weight. That's all they were doing.
No, I think they trained for the fight. I think they believe that everything, this guy ain't done anything. We beat Lomachenko. Like, they gassed off their last, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're watching their highlights of their own self. Like, if you see Teofimo's house, I'm sure you got highlights of him backflipping and him winning this. And, he believed in the hype, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk, it's like these guys, when you're the undisputed lightweight champion, right? Some people think it's Devin Haney, whatever. you ain't going against no bums, man. Like, you're going against like a top guy. Because this is the thing, right, Dan, and I'm trying to point this out to a lot of people. When you become a champion, yeah, your match. So, give an example. Teofimo was matched against Lomachenko. You understand? He earned the right to fight him. He knew he could beat him. But Gambosa, if he really looked at it, he wouldn't fight someone like Gambosa. That's not. If I was a matchmaker, I wouldn't have him fight against him.
Well, you know, this was a mandatory fight, though.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is what my whole point I'm trying to tell you. So this is why it's so hard for people when they look at people with all these defenses. Well, your matchmaker wasn't important. It wasn't involved. These are mandatory defenses that you have to fight. That's what makes you great against guys that you're not really matched against, but you beat them. So here him and after the fight, I should have done what everyone else did, vacate the belts. You see, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Because if he vacates the belts, he can continue to be matched against guys he can beat.
Yeah,
this is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
this is what I'm trying to say. And then you made a good point. It goes, look, I've been fighting on the road. I'll come to your hometown. So we want to go back to Australia. My man said, no, I'm gonna see my family. When I heard that, you ain't even gonna buy it. A lot of fans, if they were with him, they're like, yo, you sound real soft right now. You sound like a softie. I mean, what you talking about? Like, go to Australia and beat him in his own town. What are you talking about? Like, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you want to get your belts back? Nah, maybe I need to go up the way. I was like, yo, bro, so you're gonna go against Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor gonna beat your ass, bro. Like, it don't get easier. It don't get easier, like, Tio. It don't get easier. Like, real talk.
Yeah.
If you're a lightweight, be a lightweight. You know, you had plenty of time to make the weight. There's no excuses, bro. You know what I mean? Like, if you got rid of your elite team, you didn't want to pay them the money. Like, today he got a career high pay of, I think it's $6 million. You know what I mean? Bob Arum was never gonna pay that. Eddie, they paid him, but this is what you do when you find someone else's network. But that's bullshit excuses, because Eddie Hearn would have loved for you to fight Devin Haney on mega fight. That's more money.
That's what they were trying to set up. Look at the scorecards.
Got excuses. Yeah,
they were trying their best to give TL the benefit of the doubt, but the other two judges like, nah, man, you're losing this fight, especially in the mid rounds where Kamboses was picking him apart, boxing him in those mid rounds. So yeah, look, this is his doing. This is his fault. This is what happened when you try to go where the money is at. As I mentioned, that if they stayed with Top Rank and let Top Rank host the event, he would have got the benefit of the doubt on the scorecards. I'm just being real. He would have. But it is what it is.
I thought they're gonna call it. I thought they're gonna do a draw. Like, I thought they're gonna do a draw.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna. I thought
they would. But you see, they're fair.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna call a draw. Yeah, I thought they were gonna call a draw too. I thought Kamboses won it. But I was like, yeah, man. I thought they were gonna call a draw, but as soon as they said split decision, I'm like, this could be a draw, or are they gonna give it to Tio?
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, that's why he feel he got robbed, because he's like, everyone knows that these scorecards, like, usually if you're with, but then yeah, that might have been the case, but Bob Arum ain't nowhere around. Hey, you want the money. This is the thing, when you want the money about the man, if the man is there, like, I'll give you another situation. Shout out to Blood Boxing, shout out to Fight Doctor. Let me give you another
shout out to
situation.
Joe Host in the chat. Shout out from the
Joe
UK.
Host as well. Let me give you another situation, right? Larry Holmes was about to beat Rocky Master record, right? Now, Larry Holmes for the majority kill was always with Don King, right? But in that fight against Spinks, that first fight, Butch Lewis was the promoter. You know what I mean? Don King he left Don King. You know what I mean? And he's like, yo, so you're on the card and everything's on the marbles, and you're with a rival, a different promoter, who the promoter is actually with the other fighter. How the heck, if the fight's close, you know what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and that's what happened with Tio. You see, to
be fair with Larry Holmes, though, let me just say this though. To be fair, Larry Holmes had to leave Don King because Don King was under a federal investigation at that time. So
no, but what I'm trying to say, he ain't around though. I'm trying to tell he ain't around. You know what I mean? He ain't around. Where he at? Bob Arum ain't. Don King wasn't around. I'm trying to say you on someone else's promotional. You know what I'm saying? So you got to win wide, and that's what Teofimo was saying. He ain't Bob Arum. He's a Bob Arum fighter on someone on a rival promoter network, and Kamboses has been on Matchroom cards, like 3 fights they promoted him. So I'm not saying to say that was the thing, but you Teofimo did it. I think he underestimated him, and I think they could. I think he didn't prepare properly. And then if you're talking about the strategy guys with the beat Lomachenko and all that things there, that's what happens, man. The man's hungry. Let's see how Kamboses is gonna. Let's see how he's gonna go. Because right now, he don't want to fight Devin Haney. I think he's gonna stay in Australia for a minute. That's why.
I think. Well, they're gonna want their next fight in Australia, and they deserve that right. I'm just being honest. They deserve that right. David Haney, should he beat? I know. Shout out to Blood. Should he beat Jojo Diaz? And that's not a foregone conclusion because that's still a dangerous fight. Because JoJo is very durable, and he's a southpaw. So let's see how Devin Haney deals with that. But should David Haney win? I know, and the thing too, I would say is though, Kamboses' father said that, we actually we actually have a good relationship with Eddie Hearn. So it seems to me that they're going to work with Matchroom for a bit, because I know Lou DiBello promotes them, but I think it's a co-promotional deal from the looks of it. So
Devin Haney ain't fighting him. He ain't fighting Devin Haney, man.
Well, Devin Haney.
He gonna sit there and fight. He gonna fit everyone when they get the money. They try and hold on to it. Kamboses, he gonna go back to Australia. Teofimo, if he was smart, he'll take the rematch score, go to Australia, and and go fight this guy. Like, you can't tell me Teofimo could have beat him. He put him down.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, he could beat him. He definitely can beat him, but it's just like he fought the wrong fight last night. That's what happened.
There you go. That's what I'm saying.
He fought the wrong fight last night. This was not the guy who fought Comey and Lomachenko, because Joey Camacho was the trainers for both of those fights. But anyhow, let me just say this though. Look, if we're talking about Haney and Kamboses, Haney's going to have to give in and go to Australia and take that fight. I know the Haney fans is not going to want to hear that. I know they're going to say, well, the money's in America. Yeah, I get that. But look at it from another perspective. Kamboses has been all over the world fighting these people in their backyard.
Where's the big? Well, listen. He get one fight in Australia, but really and truly, it depends where the most money. Most money's in Vegas, so
that's true. That's true.
Most money in Vegas, so wherever the most money is, he can fight wherever he wants to fight. But end of the day, he have a certain amount of a fan base and said it. But you make the most money in Vegas and in America. You know what I mean? So they gonna have to sit down and work out where logistically where you can get the most money. And then the day it'll come down to purse bids. If the fight they can't negotiate, someone's gonna bid where the fight gonna be, and they gonna have it. The zone, that wherever you go, Australia, whatever, the zone's happy to go Australia or whatever, so they're cool. You know what I mean? But like, it's just gonna come down to money. Like Devin Haney, really and truly, I'm looking at Devin Haney in Australia, bro. He ain't beat. I don't see how you beat Kamboses in Australia. They're corrupt.
Yeah, I don't like. Devin ain't beating him again. He ain't beating him in Australia. So
they beat him in Australia. Yeah. I don't think Teo's gonna have to knock Teo. Because Teo could be. Teo's gonna have to knock him out, get his belts, and run back to America, bro. That's what you're gonna have to do. I think Teo could do it though. I think he needs to stop getting. He's like a spoiled brat, man. He acted like a spoiled brat. Man was talking on the mic. He crashed the mic. Say he got robbed. Then he just doubled down on what he's saying. Like the dude come across real confused, man. And then the guy goes, "Okay, well, you beat me. I came to your town. This is your town. Now you're gonna fight me in my town." And so he actually called him out. Oh, I gotta go see my kid. I said,
"Yeah, I know." Yeah, that was hard. But let me say the one thing I have to say though, Teo's a hypocrite, because you're gonna sit there and clown Deontay Wilder for being a bitch and not take his loss like a man, rightfully so. Yeah. But here you are doing the same fucking thing that he did. But I mean, that is, if it's worse than Deontay, that's up for opinion. But the fact is, you went up there, you hijacked the interview for the man who rightfully beat you, talking about you were robbed, you this and that and the third. I'm not gonna take my loss as a man, but but at the same time I was robbed. I don't give a damn what anybody say. I won this fight 10 rounds to 2. You really believe that? Do you really honestly believe that? If you did, you're delusional, as Kamboses told you in your face. You fucking delusional. You're too big for the weight, bro. You got to move up. But hey, if you want the rematch with me, go ahead. Let's do it in Australia this time. Yeah, that's what I said though. Kamboses doesn't get enough credit for psychology, man. He got into Teo's head. He told straight up, bro. I'm telling you right now, I think you're having trouble making that weight, and that's going to be a telling factor in our fight. And you got rid of all you good people. You got rid of Joey Camacho. Why did you do that? Why did you get rid of him? So yeah, so hats off to Kamboses. Hey, on Rivals here, man. What's up on Rival? I know when he has some thoughts and opinions on this.
Yo, what's up? God bless. God bless.
God bless, man. So, what's your thoughts on what happened last night?
Everybody knows he won 10 rounds to 2, man. I'm just trying to find everybody. I don't know where everybody's gone. I haven't seen a person out there. But you know the way everybody knows that he won 10-2, Dan? You know the way everybody knows?
Well, according to Teo's father, he said the crowd booed because they agreed that his son won to fight 10 rounds to 2.
Hey, yo, his dad had an abysmal night in that corner, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I mean, first things first, it was terrible strategy. Like I said, their whole point was trying to get him out in the first 2 rounds, and that was a terrible mistake. And
what are you doing? Get him out of here already! But slow down. What?
I saw that too. I heard that at the end of the first round. When,
I was lost. Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna be dead ass with you. He made Tundi Ajoy straight up look like Eddie Fudge.
Come on, that's a little bit of an insult.
No, bro. Because at least, listen to me. At least Tundi gave advice, even if I felt it was the wrong advice, right?
Yeah.
Teofimo's like, get him out of here. What?
Well, yeah.
Slow down and get him out. What?
Well, that just goes to show the experience played a factor here, because Teo Senior is not an experienced trainer. I don't know why.
No, Dan, I'm not allowing it, right?
Yeah.
Teofimo Senior was the trainer of the year last year, apparently.
Oh, what?
Oh yeah. Don't forget, Boxing Writers Association of America Trainer of the Year. He was the Ring Magazine Trainer of the Year. I still don't understand how he got it, considering it should have been Joey Gamache. Yeah,
I agree. I was going to say that.
And even then, I wouldn't have gave it to Joey Gamache over fucking Ishmael Salas last year. You know what I mean?
That's a fair point. But Joey Gamache is the reason why he beat Comey and Lomachenko. Not
because Joey Gamache is a good fucking trainer.
Absolutely. He can teach you how to fight southpaws in orthodox styles. He can teach you that.
You know when a fighter falls in love with their own ego and their own stardom, right?
Yeah.
How many times have we seen it through the years where they just believe that they are this special guy because people are telling them they're special, and they can just ragdoll? Like, I'm not going to say George is a great fighter, but they think they can like just ragdoll these like solid mid-tier guys.
Right.
Mid-tier level, like mid-tier world level guys. Like, that's what George is to me. Like, he had a really close fight with Mickey Bay and Selby.
Yeah.
Those two fights were closer than that fight was last night.
Yeah, that's true. I definitely agree with that. You could argue that he lost to Selby, but then again, you could argue he won it too. But because Selby kind of slowed down at the end, he was breaking.
I thought he just won at 7-5 against Selby.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair score. But I was going to say though, what do you think? What he should do at this point? Hypothetically, should Devin Haney beat Jojo Diaz? Should that fight happen in Australia or America? Where do you think that fight should happen?
Wherever the money is. That's where fights should always be, wherever the money is. If you can get, let's say it's $5 million in America between the two of them. Okay, what if Australia are able to scrumple up $15 million in a stadium? You get that bitch going.
I think they will. They're gonna probably put up. They're gonna bid for it.
You always go wherever the money is.
Yeah,
they're prize fighters.
Yeah, fair. That's a good point. That's a fair point. But at this point, Kamboses is like, look, man, my next fight's got to be Australia because I've already traveled to 3 former champions current champions' backyards. I did it 3 straight times, so it's my turn to get things on my own terms. Fair enough. Get one fight in Australia. I think
somebody added me. I think it was Jerry King Frog on Twitter. He added me. He's from Australia, right?
Right.
And he was like atting me like video recordings that he was taking from the news out in Sydney and everything, like all day, like George Kamboses all over the place.
Okay.
Like, so he went from being relatively obscure. Today he is the most talked about person in Australia.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah,
that's huge. That's what if us, because we know we've seen it in the past. Like yourself and EJ seen like how big Fennec got and how big Kostya got. Like when Australians get behind their guys, they're stars.
Oh yeah,
they are stars.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, speaking of Fennec and Kostya, he did call himself the greatest Australian fighter of all time. He said no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I know Fennec and Kostya.
Shout out to Jeff Fennec.
Yeah, Fennec's gonna have something to say about that. And so, I mean, Kostya maybe not so much because he's more quiet. He doesn't really speak, but yeah, Fennec's going to probably have a lot to say about this. Hey, Ralph on Real, shout out to Ralph. He said, "Hey, tell Unrivaled that I told him Kamboses will win, but he doubted me."
I did doubt you, and I think most people doubted you. The bookies doubted you.
Yeah, 13-1.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you made profit on that fight like I did, then we're both good. You don't turn down 13-1 odds on any fight, man.
Right.
You don't turn them. Not in a fight when you have a person who's saying that he's injured, yeah,
Yeah.
and that he's clearly struggling with the weight, and he hasn't fought in over a year.
Yeah, I think that was the telling factor the last night. The weight cut was the issue, and I don't think they properly trained for the fight. Me personally, I had said that they didn't train. What I mean by that is that they didn't properly train. They took Kamboses very likely. Teo Senior said this guy can't even punch through a fucking grape bowl or something like this. We're gonna get him out in 2-3 rounds. He should be no problem. And I was like, well, that's a terrible mistake because Kamboses not only been in the ring with Mickey Bay and Lee Selby. I know they're not looked upon as great champions. I get it. But this man sparred in America and the rest of the world with the likes of Manny Pacquiao and Sergey Lipinets. This guy sparred world-class welterweights many times. So I mean, why would you look at that and say, well, this guy is obscured? I'm like, no, he's been in there with great fighters.
Well, here's the thing.
Whether in camps or whether in the ring. But go ahead.
Here's the thing. In terms of how they view his power, don't forget they were saying that Josh Taylor will be light work at 140 pounds. Like they'll knock him out easy. They fell in love with that power because, and I personally do believe it really did come from the Comey thing. But they need to remember they caught Comey as Comey came in. That's what set that up when he launched in and they landed a perfect counter. That can happen in boxing, but like. It didn't come from Teo walking after Comey, which is what he was doing against George.
That's true. He walked into it. That's exactly what happened. That's an excellent point. But yeah, man, shout out to Brandon Lee, the Ring Magazine Trainer of the Year 2020. I know we already talked. Yeah, we're referring to Teo Senior. I don't know why he got that award, but it is what it is.
It should have been Salas, Derek James, or Eddie.
Or Joey Gamache, in my opinion, but it is what it is.
Or even Shane McGuigan, to be honest.
Shane McGuigan.
It just should not have been TF. He's his daddy and his trainer.
I'll never forget them black leather gloves and all the upsets. Well, you know what, though? There's also another bad omen that people are pointing out, the franchise. It seems like whenever you walk in with the franchise, you're going to bound to lose the fight. What I mean by that, the WBC franchise. First Lomachenko, now Teo. Both walked in as franchise champions and they both lost. Look, it is what it is, but I mean, I'm not going to read too much into that. But we'll see what happens if any other future franchise champions go into a fight and see what happens, what the end result is. Let's see. Blood says Eddie Futch. Oh, yeah, the Eddie Futch comment you made. He's laughing at that. Let me see. Illis K.
Also,
what's up? Go ahead.
I just want to say what's up to EJ. How are you doing, EJ?
Yeah, I'm cool, man. What's going on? I didn't see the fight from the start, but I was watching the fight, listening to you guys talking, man. Now I'm good, man, bro. How are you good?
I'm great, man. I'm great. I'm just like doing some work at the moment, but yeah, man. It was a great night of boxing yesterday, man. I loved it.
I want to know if there's a rematch. I know it was a Manchuri, yeah. Like,
no, there's no rematch clause.
No, there's no rematch clause. No rematch clause.
But you
has
see,
to be a voluntary.
Kamboses would take it though, because I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. That's a high payday. I think the rematch in Australia would be sick, man. I think you should take it, man.
Teo's moving up. Teo's moving up. He's moving up. He's moving up, EJ.
He's silly, man. He should stay there. He should stay there and fight because, like, it's just.
He should stay there until Josh Taylor fucking moves.
He's not beating Josh Taylor, man. He's not.
Hell no.
He's not beating.
I'll be honest with you. He's gonna lose to. He'll lose to a lot of guys. Barboza would probably beat him because Barboza is a faster version of Kamboses and a lot longer.
Right. Yeah, he's not beating Josh Taylor, man. I don't see how he's beating Josh Taylor. He's a Teofimo, like, you know what I mean? At this point, yeah, it's like if you don't take the rematch and you go up, then you're just putting yourself in the hot water there because you ain't beating Josh Taylor. That's the way. You can beat some of the other guys, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney's a good fight. These are good money fights, man. So why do you need to go up? You know, if you got rematches, Lomachenko still wants a piece of you, so there don't make no sense going up, man. You know what I mean?
I get that, but the problem is that he just can't really make the weight.
He knocked them down. Like, there's not. No one could tell me that Teo could have beat him if Teo came with a more decisive game plan than what he did. You know what I mean? Because he knocked him down late in the fight, and if he was more controlled and more disciplined, instead of just going in there trying to look for the knockout, then he could have won the fight. Like, I don't know what his game plan was, to be honest with you.
Do you know what it reminded me of? Right, and y'all can disagree if you want, but it reminded me of a more aggressive and higher volume version of Yard versus Arthur.
Yeah, it sounded like, yeah, it was. Yeah, it sounded like that. It was. He don't know what he's waiting for. What are you waiting around for? It's true. What's he waiting around for? Like, yeah, he's just waiting around. Bullshit. It's bullshit. Where you're waiting around, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just silly. You know, he got a lot of money in the outfit. The dad looked better. Their whole outfit, and they got money. So maybe the money, and this is the thing they always say about boxing: when you got that much money, it's hard to be hungry, and that's where they're at. Yeah. AJ, maybe,
but that's
Teofimo, like, bro, he got a lot of money.
Teo didn't really have that much money yet. Like, he had one kind of solid payday. This was a bit of a bigger payday, right? He made more money.
He got big money.
No, that was originally with Triller. Don't forget that defaulted, and the amount of money after Top Rank's cuts and everything. Teo from the DAZN last night made 2.6 million, which is a lot of money, right? But remember the Loma fight. I'm gonna quote. I seen this because I don't normally like this journalist Steve Kim, but this is a good quote. No, this is a good quote. Hear me out.
All right, go ahead.
Listen to it. Right, the Loma fight was meant to be a launch pad. Right, it's not that you have landed on the moon and you can just start walking now. It was meant to be a launch pad to get you up there, and then you try and take off. He hadn't took off yet, but he was acting like it. So he had his launch pad moment to get there, and then when you're up there, you have to unlock that gate. He thought he was already in the gate dancing around with John Lennon and the Beatles, man. Well, he thought he was an icon already.
When he beat two champions, he was already high when he beat two champions, though. But this guy was better. This guy was better prepared.
Better prepared. He's better prepared. Yeah, better prepared. So, yeah, shout out to Kamboses.
He was tough and game. His movement was the problem, man. He wasn't standing there. He was moving a lot, man.
Yeah, I think he was confusing Teo with that movement too, because Teo didn't expect that. He thought he was going to stand there and trade with him. But Kamboses is not that type of fighter. He's known to show some movement, to boxing angles. I mean, he's not that fast-footed, but he's known to. What's up?
It's good. Kamboses is a very good boxer. He's
a very good boxer. Well, he's definitely got some pop in his punches, because Teo's like, nah, this guy can't punch through grape. And look what happened. He busted up your face and knocked you down. Will you say the guy can't punch? So, but Illis Yo says, yeah, only the Mickey Bay fights were close. In my opinion, Kamboses dominated Selby 9-3. Nah, I didn't see that type of fight, but it is what it is. He also says that Dan the Man, thoughts on Teo using excuses. He was bigger in that ring, and he also talked down on Loma's using excuses despite Loma being smaller. That's a very good question. Look, I just think, let me just say this. I just think that a fighter, it's a hard pill to swallow, as Sergio Morris said last night, to take a loss. I understand, especially if you're in a competitive environment, it's very difficult to accept a loss, especially in a situation where it's a very close fight. You felt you should have got the benefit of the doubt as a champion, as the draw, as you want to call it. I get that. But at the same time, don't turn around and call out another fighter and call him a bitch for him because he made excuses on how he lost his fight against another man like Tyson Fury, and yet you go around and do the same thing. So don't do that. Don't be a hypocrite. So that's the one thing he's got to be called out for. That you being a hypocrite, and I'm very sad that some of the Teo fans are now calling him out on that, because they're the same ones who went after Wilder for making all these excuses against Fury. But now when their guy does it, that standard doesn't apply to Teo. I just don't get it. So yeah, hey, shout out to Mala. He's from New Zealand. He's from that Oceania territory. He said that Teo fought dumb. He was all emotion. Yeah, he did fight with emotion, but I think what it was is that the weight cut was the issue. I think he felt drained. He felt that he needed to get him out early so that way he could go. And,
shit, boy! I just saw the knockout. Look down.
The first round.
Yeah. Boy, that loop, as he was coming, he got him with a looping shot, put him on his. Oh no, man!
Yeah, that was a hard shot too.
Oh shit, man! Woo!
I don't like the narrative that's going around. It was a flash knockdown. That was no flash knockdown. He took him off his feet, yo. Took him off his feet.
I don't know how they could come up with that idea. It was a flash knockdown. Tio walked into that punch.
Tio was in that round. I thought Tio was winning that round up until that point, man. So he knocked them down.
Well, you know what's funny about that? Speaking of that round, you know what's funny about that? Kamboses, 2 judges who gave Kamboses the win, right, on the cards. They scored the round for Kamboses, but however, they scored it 10-9. I don't see how that was a 10-9 round when he got the knockdown.
What they were on the knock? With the knockdown?
They gave what they did was they gave that round to Teofimo, but they scored it kind of like an even round. So they made it an even round, but with 10-8, Kamboses making it 10-9.
Well, I could get that argument to some extent, but my gripe is, well, my issue with that is that I've seen many fighters take beatings in rounds, and when they score a knockdown out of nowhere, they win it 10-8 on judges' scorecards.
Yeah, can I be honest about that then? The judges who do that and give the 10-8, they're actually scoring wrong. What those judges did last night, that's actually if they felt Tio was winning that round and they scored it at 10-8.
Yeah, but you got it was. But the thing is, if you hit the canvas, that's a 10-8. That's it. It's a 10-8. That's the crowd. They don't tell you to make up as you go along.
No, because it's a 10-point. No, because it's a 10-point must system, right? So if Teofimo wins the round,
he wasn't dominating that round.
If they had Teofimo winning
that round, though, he wasn't dominating that round.
If they had Teofimo winning the round, they have to keep someone at 10. They can't do it with Tio. So they scored 10-9.
Yeah, but it wasn't like it was overly like he was winning it that clearly. So if it was like to me, if it was a dominant round, then I hear what you're saying, but that wasn't a dominant round by FT.
No, I feel you from that perspective. But that's from their perspective, right? That is from their perspective.
I got you. But I would have come back on that and said it was a 10-8 because it wasn't a dominant.
I scored a 10-8 to George myself, but I can see. I can see.
Hold up, go ahead, Rival. Finish up, man. Go ahead.
I'm just saying that I can see where they're coming from, because if they felt that it was a clear round for Tio, right, and then the knockdown, they didn't feel it separated it on the 10-point must. They have to score a 10-9 to Kamboses.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a fair point, but I am kind of in agreement with EJ and I are on the same point on this. But I just think that it just kind of, I don't understand how this is a different standard when it comes to Teofimo Lopez, where I've seen many fighters dominate rounds, and then when they get knocked down by their opponent, the opponent gets the 10-8 score. I mean, I guess that's a rightful thing to do, but I mean, look, it's a matter of opinion. I think that's something that needs to be addressed in the future if you're going to score rounds like that. I mean, to me, that's kind of
it happened in Fury Wilder 1, didn't it?
No,
the last round.
No, it was 10-8, I think.
Yeah, it was 10-8 to Wilder. Like what you were talking about. But a lot of people felt that could have been a 10-9.
That's true, because Fury came back and hurt Wilder at the end. Yeah, I mean, some people felt that way, but realistically, it's never been scored like that before until now. So.
No, I've seen it a few times. I have seen it a few times.
You're right about that, but I haven't seen it though. On my experience, I don't recall when that's.
It's rare. It's a rare.
Because them judges are bought off like Lombardi. They're all from New York, so they that's what I'm saying. The
but you know what? They were trying to give Tio the benefit of the doubt.
From New York. He's at home in New York. They didn't want to give it 10-8, so they gave it 10. You know what the corruption is already. That's why.
Yeah, they were trying to give Tio that fight, man.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what I'm saying. That's why. Yeah, that's why. Remember, that's why he fought. Like, nah, man, I got robbed, man. It should have been a draw, so I keep my belts and this that. He ain't never. Like, he's like, yo, bro, in my hometown, I got fingers up, but you shouldn't have relied on that thing. Like, the kid was outboxing you, dog. Like, I'm in your corner. I mean, what other gameplay did you have? Like, oh yeah, go knock him out. I mean, that ain't happening, bro.
You gotta knock him out, but slow it down. Look, to be fair though, I know with Tio Senior,
you gotta get him out of here now.
I think what Tio Senior was trying to imply, you need to place your shots better. I mean, you need to take your time and then get him out. I think that's what he was trying to say.
I'm sure that is what he's trying to say. And do you know what he should do next time? Say it.
Yeah. Good point. But yeah, let's see. Well, let's move on from that real quick. We might come back to that shortly, but let's talk about the other fight last night. I'm not sure if you guys saw this one. Stephen Fulton and Brandon Figueroa. That was a damn good fight last night on the PBC
How
card.
dare you, Dan? How
What?
dare you even suggest that I didn't watch a fight last night?
Nah, I'm just asking, man. I'm just asking.
Of course. You mean last night's fight of the night?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, some people argue that Kamboses and Tio was, but hey, it's back.
That was a ton. That is a classic fight, Fulton and Figueroa. Classic. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, you know the scorecards?
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of controversy. From where I'm standing, I counted that there was 8 swing rounds in that bitch.
Yeah, it was a very close fight. I mean, look, I thought Figueroa won that fight, but then again, I can see how the judges gave it to Fulton because Fulton was scoring he was scoring more power punches, and that usually does tip the scale over to you.
I had it 6-6 then. Even.
Fair enough. It could have been a draw.
If somebody said to me 7-5 to either dude, 8-4 to either dude, I would have looked at them and said, well, I can see a 7-5, maybe an 8-4 to Brandon, but I can see 7-5 for Fulton. I can't see 8-4 for Fulton. Right. So 2 of them having it 116, 112 for Fulton was a bit much. But it was a really, really good fight. The shot selection was brilliant. Fulton's uppercut was beautiful. Figueroa is a damn dog.
Yeah.
He just doesn't stop.
Yeah, he just doesn't stop, though. The thing, though, is some of the Figueroa fans are like, they're pissed off because they felt it was a robbery that night because his volume was very, very high. I get that, but I think the judges, if you look at it from the outside in, some of Figueroa's work was sloppy, and judges don't like sloppy work sometimes. They don't like it. They're like, yeah, your volume is high, but you're not landing cleaning. You're just like pitty-patting your punches into the inside. That's all you're doing. And you're getting hit clean at the same time. So it's like, you score, how do you score? I mean, you score with the fighter who's landing more accurate shots, more power shots than the other fighter who's have more volume. So this is one of those fights that's tough to score. So to your point, though, I think it's a draw would probably been best because that's how I thought that how they would have scored. But I don't see no problem in them giving Fulton the win. I don't see a problem if they decided to give it to Figueroa. It was that type of fight.
I'll be back on the stream in 2 minutes, then.
All right, sounds good, man. Sounds good. But yeah, the Fulton fight, very close fight. I don't know why people call it. I haven't seen it.
Why was it a good fight? There was any knockdowns? I haven't seen the fight.
No, there were no knockdowns, but it was an action-packed fight, though.
I'm gonna have to find it. It was really good, yeah.
It was a damn good fight. Could have been fight of the night last night.
Go ahead.
No, it could have been fight of the night last night, other than Tio and Kamboses. I mean, some people argue that was the fight of the night because there was 2 knockdowns, but it is what it is. But yeah, Fulton and Figueroa, they fought a phone booth fight last night. A phone booth fight.
Okay. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, man. I got to check it out, man. But I knew that the Teofimo, because it's undisputed lightweight, and Kamboses, the referee fell down. The referee fell down.
Harvey Dock. Harvey Dock is a good official. Well, he's from New York, so yeah.
The referee fell down. He's not talking that shit. He tripped over Kamboses' leg.
You watch it?
I'm looking at Tio. I'm looking at Tio's corner. Yeah, you can't. The thing is, you're not fighting a southpaw no more, so I guess you don't need the guy for southpaws. But at the same time, like Teofimo's corner, they got money now. They're doing all right. They got a bit more money. They got a bit more money to spend. I just looked at the fight. I said, like, end of the day, it come down to the strategy. You know what I mean? Because every time Tio touched Kamboses' face started to bleed from the first round. Like, you know what I mean? His face was bleeding, but I think Tio really just looked at this guy and just like, this ain't even a problem. Like I fought better guys than this and that. But I just thought, I think at some point, I think he's he neglected, man. But I think if he focus, I think he can beat him. I think he should take the rematch, take it to Australia, and go to Australia, be the bad man, and go over. I love that fight in Australia. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But I don't know if he wants it. I think he like fighting. You know, he's a Brooklyn boy. He like fighting.
Well, I think part of that is he won't take the fight because Kamboses got to him mentally. He did. He got to Tio mentally.
I don't think.
Yeah, he did. He got to him mentally. He got to him mentally. He told him, bruh, he kept telling him that you can't make the weight. You can't make the weight. Tio was getting irritated about that.
He made the weight. It wasn't that. He can see clearly he thought this guy's a bum, man.
He told him that you can't knock me out as well, and Tio made a point to go after the knockout.
Yeah, well, that might be the case, but Tio goes for the knockdown anyway. So Tio doesn't go. No,
Teo sits back and counterpunches you. He doesn't run after you around the ring from the very start.
Yeah, that's why I said he underestimated the guy. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He underestimated the guy. He looked at the guy as a bum. Straight out bum. You ain't done nothing. You're out here you're chasing my clout, and I'm going to go out and straighten you out in the first round. So that's what he said what he won't do, and he just walked the walk and talked the talk. So I'm saying, like, I don't think he got to his head. It's just a matter of what he felt he could go do because he underestimated the guy. That's clear as that. Now, if you come with a better game plan, then you might have more success. Because I looked at Teo. Every time Teo touched him, Kamboses' face started to bleed from the jump. But as the defense is Teo's pretty bad, his hands are down. He was getting pecked in his face as well.
Yeah, that's the thing about Teo. He doesn't move his head.
Yeah, that's why his face started getting marked up. And he's seen his own blood and shit. Yo, man, he had to go.
Let me just say this: if this fight happens in Australia, I favor Kamboses to win that fight.
Nah,
not by
man.
a big market.
Nah,
by,
dude, I got Teo. I pick Teo.
I'm gonna give you my prediction right now. It doesn't happen. Teofimo moves up.
Yeah, that's a more likely scenario. But I'm just saying hypothetically, if it does happen,
And I'll give you a sexier prediction if you want.
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
He'll never be dominant in a division again.
He wasn't dominant anyway. Like he only beat like what? Cormier and thing.
And Nakatani and Magdaleno.
Yeah, I know. Look, I know that he didn't beat Devin, right? And Hank, right? But he did become he didn't become undisputed, but he did become lineal.
Right. Okay, it's who you fight, man. And in the day, like there's guys in the way.
That's why I said
he was a dominant. He was a dominant. No way. It was a dominant anyway.
Right? Look, right, EJ, right? For the sake of nitpicking every single word in existence, right? We can go with that. But he became the man at lightweight.
He did.
Well, listen, like I said, Lomachenko never fought them either, so and he wasn't dominant the weight class either until they fought them guys. So
speaking of Lomachenko, do you think him and Bob Arum they're gonna want to get that fight with Kamboses?
Possibly.
What? Oh yeah, that'll be good. Oh, that'd be good in Australia. Loma would take that.
Loma would go to Australia.
Yeah, he would. Yeah. Loma would take that.
Loma travels anyway.
Yeah, he would. Yeah.
That's true.
I think Loma needs to stop him though, because he ain't gonna get on cards.
Well, he's got that Comey fight coming up, so he got.
Yeah, he has to get through Richard, man. Like I know Teo caught him with a beautiful shot, but styles make fights, and in many ways, like Comey is a very dangerous fight for Loma because Loma might not be able to stop him like easily. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Comey, whilst he's in the ring, he that fool cracks like a mule, bro.
Yeah, Comey hits hard.
Yeah, but he ain't got no confidence no more, man.
Well, he ain't got no confidence no more.
He showed plenty of confidence in his last fucking fight.
He got knocked out by Thingy. You know what I mean? This other day, he ain't not confident. A guy might have all that stuff, but he's not confident no more, man. He ain't the
same
guy.
You see his last fight? He put this guy out to sleep?
But that's not Lomachenko. He ain't fight Lomachenko, did he?
Well, I'm saying though,
I
get that.
Look at Nakatami. Nakatami got pieced up, man. Got pieced up, bro.
But Nakatani went for it against Loma and got pieced the fuck up. But he went for it.
And that's what Cormier. He'll go for it as well and get pieced up as well. They can get pieced up. Lomachenko will break them up. Lomachenko, he's still because the thing is, if you let's look at the fight with him and Teo, right? He was coming in the last round. You know, he came back strong. You know what I mean? He just had a bad start. Like he was pieced. You know, he's still that guy. So you put him against Kambosos. Kambosos he gonna be in trouble a bit, man. He gonna be in trouble. No, you know what I mean? He's still kind of that trouble guy. But Devin Haney, no one wants to fight Devin Haney. Everyone's ducking him because Kambosos said, "I don't know. I got to see this, that, the other." You know, so then no one wants to fight Devin Haney. And that Jojo Diaz fight, that's gonna be hard.
Here's the thing, though. If Devin wants that fight, if Kamboses says it's got to happen in Australia, then you got to go to Australia. If you don't want to do that, then that's on you, Devin. That's on you. That's on you. So, I mean, at this point, I think Kamboses earned the right to call the shots. He gets to dictate the terms now. He is the man. He's the guy with the belts. He's the
George Kamboses is the unified lineal champion.
Yeah. "Quote unquote." So he gets to call the shots now. It's his term to do so. He had to go to travel and take.
George Kamboses is the man.
Until you're as good as your next fight, you're as good as your last fight, man.
Well,
So he
definitely is going on pound for pound list now, Kamboses. So
yeah, where you putting him? Where you putting him?
I'll probably put him at number 6, maybe, or 7.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good win over Teo, for real.
Yeah,
I don't have him on my list.
even after this win.
It's one win.
Okay, well, Teo got on the list for 1 win.
No, because he had Comey and Loma was like top 5 pound for pound.
Okay, fair enough.
Loma was number 1 at that time.
Yeah, he was number 1, I think.
Depending on what list, like on my list, Loma was 3, right?
Nah, no,
so,
I'm talking about the official list. He was number 1 at the time.
There is no official list.
Yeah, there is, man.
What's the official list for pound?
What?
yeah, ESPN and the Ring, isn't it? They're the official list, man.
Well, no, they're not official lists. They're not official lists.
Well, they're the recognized list. Let's put it that way. They're the recognized list, but
they're the media.
That's what I'm saying. They're the official list. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to ESPN. Apparently, Usyk is behind Tyson Fury pound for pound. What do you know?
I know. Hey, listen, they do the bullshit, but that's that.
Well, we all know pound for pound is very subjective. You got TBRB, which is more. They kind of seem more objective when it comes to rankings. Some cases, ESPN and the Ring. It
was between Lomo and Terence Crawford, and now they say. Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. It's always been consistent.
Yeah, look, I lost all of my respect for Ring when I did, because Ring to me are biased as fuck, and people don't really recognize it too much. But I lost every ounce of credibility when Rungvisai was coming off of 2 wins back to back over Chocolatito, who they had number 1 pound for pound, right?
Right.
They put Rungvisai number 9 on the list.
Yeah.
That's
wait, hold on. Then Errol Spence wins 1 title fight against Kell Brook. Kell Brook, who's not on the list, and goes ahead of Rungvisai. Explain that.
Yeah, that's American bias, then, isn't it?
Of course, it's bias. It's subjectivity.
I don't think. There is more following for specific lists because they're media, right? But there's no official list. In my personal opinion, my pound for pound list is official.
Yeah, of course. What I'm saying is, we go with that. Of course it is, but we're gonna go by what they're saying, and then we can just pick it off. So they're them number 1.
We should use my pound for pound list. It's brilliant. There's only white fighters from Eastern Europe on the list. Only. So Derevianchenko's number 7. Silyagin just beat Chilembe, so he's now number 10 because he beat Chilembe. He's the new Kovalev.
Oh Lord! Oh, here we go.
I'm joking, bro.
I know, man. I know. I'm just being sarcastic. But but
there's no PBC fighters allowed.
No, they're not. But Errol Spence is on the he's on the TBRB.
I removed Errol because of the injury, because that doesn't give me like a timestamp, and he's had 1 fight in 2 years.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a fair point. So yeah, what up, big boys? I know Oceana's up in this chat. We got Mal and Big Boy in here. So what's up, y'all? Hope everyone's keeping well. Yeah, we're doing fine, sir. We're doing fine. Hey, shout out to Oceana. Got another big win, particularly in Australia. Kamboses now is a celebrity now. Like I said, though, I guess we'll have to have another discussion about this. Him calling himself the greatest Australian fighter of all time.
Hell no.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's cool. But in reality, you know what I mean? You know that ain't even got Lionel Rose. You know, the reality, there's no
EJ.
Let me finish what I'm saying. Like, in all reality, yeah, he can call himself whatever. Now, whether people believe that, that's another thing. But most people say Jeff Fennick. You know what I mean? And then after Jeff Fennick, you got the other one, Dennis Andrews, and then you got Costa Zoo, and you got Lionel Rose. You got other guys on there, but he can call himself what he wants. He just beat a massive mountain, come to a guy's hometown, capture the belts. He can call himself what he wants, man. I ain't got no problem with calling him calling himself what he called himself. You know what I'm saying? Now it's up to him to go and prove it to everyone else. That's the way I see it.
And look, Lee Selby came out and said that look, Kamboses got no punching power. I'll smoke him this time if you want, and if they ever fight. Okay, whatever, Lee. Whatever you say, Lee. Whatever you say. He's got
You
no
know what?
punching power.
That's an easy payday. Well, that's an easy payday for Eddie Hearn to pull up, man. You know what I'm saying? A
Why would
rematch.
Lee Selby? Why would we want to see that fight again? I mean, that was our
Yeah,
idea for
but hey,
final
listen,
eliminator, but why would we want to see that fight again?
hey, people in Australia don't care as long as they sell a lot of tickets over there. You know, shit. Lee Selby will fight him in Australia. I don't know. Shit.
You think Lee Selby's going to go to Australia and take on Kamboses again?
Yeah, hell yeah, he would. Yeah, he would. Australia's a nice place. Hell yeah, it's a nice place. Why not?
Okay, well, you know what? Maybe Lee Selby would want to fight again because he knows it's a big payday now. That's why he's calling him out.
We see with Kamboses is talking up that he got all the Greeks and Australians. Let's see what he can do. Let's see if he can get a stadium filled or whatever, and see what he can do. See what numbers he can do. So we're gonna see. He talk it. Let's see if his fan base kind of turns out. You know what I mean? Is he gonna? I mean, I don't know how this has gone down in Australia. Is he that big? I don't know.
No, not at this point because Tim Zoo's got that on lockdown at this point. So
Tim Zoo's pretty big, isn't it?
Yeah, he's the attraction over there. So I know Tim Zoo fans are gonna like, he ain't that. He can't call himself the greatest of all time. He's not even big of an attraction. He's not bigger than Tim Zoo. I mean, well, that may all change after what happened last night. So
let's just give him a bit of time and see what happens. You know, I think EJ has hit the nail on the head, though. Give him a fight with somebody out there in Australia. Like, get a Lee Selby out there or whoever's willing to go, if Devin's willing to go, whatever. And if these guys are willing to go out there and they get a fight on, let's see what type of arena the tickets will demand. And if they're demanding enough, we'll see what his stardom is like.
Right.
Yeah. Anyone who calls himself great, Now, as old timers, we ain't gonna be having it. But if you got to go out there and prove it while your career's active. So you know what I mean. Him calling him the greatest is like, you know what I mean. Like Canelo never said he's the greatest Mexican, but they kind of put him in there and say how great is he because he's undisputed.
Yeah.
Like he's still
putting him into the combo. He is getting into that combo. He is getting into
exactly. There you go. You see, exactly because as they continue. Whether you like it or not, they're gonna put them, talk them, get themselves in there. Like, I didn't think he would beat Teofimo. I still think Teofimo could beat him because I looked at the fight later and I said, "Yo, so you definitely got the power to take him out." Like, where was it earlier on, right? Like you when he got into his boxing, like you said, counter boxing, then he could do him, but he's like, the game plan was wrong. That's what it comes down to. Like your strategy was wrong, man. And then you found it, but it was just too late in the fight. So if you start your game plan better, then you could beat him. He definitely got the power to put him out. So you know. I'll take the rematch and have a better game plan. I know his dad needs to stop talking reckless like that. But that's who they are. Like the Angel Garcias, him and Angel Garcia, and thing. They're all the same. Like they just
Robert Garcia's father too. What's his name?
Yeah,
Hector Garcia.
Angel.
No. Robert Guerrero. Hector Guerrero. No.
Oh, Hector Guerrero.
Yeah. He was the worst.
You know, in terms of this all-time great stuff and everything, like, I think it's even a little, like, I get where he's coming from because you're supposed to think you're great, right? But he has a win over Lopez, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's not even at Johnny Famechon's level yet, you know? Yeah. He beat fighting Harada twice and Jose Alegre.
Right. Hey,
so,
I was going to say, Big Boy said that, Kamboses himself didn't say he was the greatest Aussie boxer ever. That was the other guy in his team.
Oh, okay.
You meant to his father, but he did kind of recite what his father said. Yeah, he said, "No disrespect, I am the greatest Australia fighter." He did say that. He said it.
He did.
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying he did.
But I ain't got no problem because we figured at some time, Australia ain't really put on the map. So if he keeps saying it, then we get into that argument. We're like, well, let's see who is the greatest Australian. See, he gets the conversation started to say, well, we don't. Well, this is that, the other. But if he continues and gets some good defenses and gets them out, he'll be arguing up in there. Like, look at who's the greatest Scottish fighter right now? Like Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor has won the belt, right? You got Ken Buchanan, the face of Scotland, and they say so. If he gets a couple of defenses going, like he ain't doing nothing either. Like he got the undisputed championship. He ain't done nothing. Like what are you doing? Like I think, what are you doing? Like has he had one? I think he had one defense. Do you have one defense? I don't even know.
Just what of undisputed?
No, not yet.
No, he hasn't done. No, he hasn't defended undisputed yet. But as far as title defenses go, I think he's got 3, right?
Yeah,
but undisputed. Now he's undisputed. This is where it's like this is the launcher pad, right? So
Yeah.
like you know, Ken Buchanan defended the belt a couple of times. So for you to cement yourself as one of the greatest Scottish fighters of all time, like this guy, then let's go do something. So that I always thought this is a start. Let's see what you can do. You know, Hagler got undisputed from Alamina, and then he went on a tear. You know what I mean? So these guys have always got the chance to go and do what they can do. So I don't mind him saying he's the greatest Australian fighter. That's all right. Let's go do something with it, though. Let's go do something with it.
Yeah, I agree. Well, speaking of
I
his
didn't think he
father,
would win. I got to give credit, bro. I didn't think he'll win, but he mastered a great game plan against Teofimo. Mastered a great game plan. You know, he battled the champ. Remember, the guy's the underdog. He's the challenger. He ain't no one giving him a chance. He had to believe in himself to overcome that in a man's hometown. Shit, you can't not about giving him credit. Say he's the greatest Australian. Yeah, go ahead. He didn't say he was greatest in the world. Now, he said greatest Australian fighter. What am I to argue? Shit, he from there.
Yeah, well, you know what though, Big Boy's got a point though. Kostazu is considered Aussie, but he's more of an Aussie Russian immigrant.
Russian,
so,
right?
Yeah,
Russian.
So he's Russian, so he's not really an Australian, which is a fair point. It is somewhat of a fair point, but I would say that Costa was raised in Australia since he was a kid. So I guess
he fought for the Russian team and defected.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
he did. Yeah, he fought.
Just like Bob Fitzsimmons did when he moved to New Zealand. He is a British guy. I mean, I consider Bob Fitzsimmons.
Lionel Rose was an Aborigine who fought there. Like, I mean, he beat the great Japanese fighter, fighting Harada. Right? That's how he came on the scene. You know what I mean? And he had a couple of offenses, but he drink problems and stuff. You know what I mean? And he got to his head. And then a lot of these guys, like we're seeing, as reaching the mountain. How do they sustain it? Teofimo fell off, man. He literally fell off the mountain. He got there, but he couldn't sustain it. He couldn't. You know what I mean? Lomachenko, that's what Lomachenko give him credit. He got up there, you know what I'm saying? And he still, I don't know what Lomachenko's going to do now. He only got a couple of years.
Give him credit and give Alexander Usyk credit because they both can sustain it. They've been like, well, I'll say Usyk more, so he's more of a celebrity in this country than maybe Lomachenko is, but he's been sustaining that for years. So he's still disciplined. And he's still always hungry to go out to win and prove himself. So
well, you see the thing is, I was looking in. Let's see how they do the title defenses, man. Yeah. That's when your matchmaker's not involved. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Your matchmaker's not involved. Let's see how long you can hold the belt for, because that's what I'm saying. Teofimo, really and truly, if they're his matchmaker, they wouldn't face someone like Kamboses. Nah, he's all wrong for you, bro. He's too busy, active, he's a mover. You know, couldn't they see what they see? Nah, he ain't got no punching power. Yo, so what, man? He busy, moving, he's active, he's hungry. Come on.
Do you know what's crazy? EJ, in terms of matchmaking, do you know what's crazy? To me, just listening, if I were to walk in and didn't hear you say Kamboses, you're describing Lomachenko. He's busy, he moves around, he got good movement, he's active, he's hungry, he's throwing lots of punches. You're literally describing Loma, but Teo beat him.
Yeah. But I think Loma was off for a year. I think he had shoulder problems or something like that. And he
no excuses. That Euro bomb got Euro bombed.
Loma was slow though. Loma made excuses though. Loma made the excuse though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but Loma got Euro bombed.
Well, you know what? Speaking of Kamboses' dad, though, the one thing I would say though about Kamboses' dad, though, he did say something very inspiring. He was like, "Hey, look, man." I think this is what IFL. He told the interviewer. He said, "Hey, look, I could have told my son that we could have stayed in Australia, pad our record. It did that there, but I told him no. If you want to be great in this business, is boxing. If you want to be great, you got to go train in America. You got to go train in America. You got to go train with the best in America too, the best fighters like Manny Pacquiao. At one point, Sergey Lipinets and other welterweights, and that's exactly what Kamboses did, man." And that's why I feel that's part of the reason why he felt so confident going into this fight. He said to himself, "Look, man, I've been there with one of the greatest fighters of all time. Well, some will call the greatest fighter of all time. I've been in sparring with him so many times, dude. You're lightweight, you lightweight compared to him, so I ain't worried about you." So, so I like that type of confidence. I like that reassurance. I like that inspiring energy from Kamboses' team. Because they, all the odds against him, not once, not twice, but 3 times. 3 times.
You see the thing, T ain't got no excuses. You know why T ain't got no excuses? Yeah. He shouldn't have any excuses because he in America, right? Yeah. And they could bring in the best sparring partners, bring everything they need to get over. He come from Australia, so he had to acclimatize in New York, bring the best sparring partners, and rely on his team to bring the best people for him
Yeah.
to get him ready for this big fight. And he said I brought middleweights in, I brought all kinds of guys in so he can deal with the punching power of Teo. Teo, on the other hand, we bring in. You know what I'm saying? He just all talking in the camera, talking with Devin Haney after fight. Like, you ain't what are you doing? You know, was he really focused? And I ain't making no excuses, but really and truly, like, you know, I think you overlook this guy, and then this is what happens, man.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah, clearly did. He clearly did. So yeah, man, props to Kamboses. Let's move along here. I know this is gonna be what's up?
Can I say something? I just want to say something.
Yeah.
Because you know, maybe I didn't hear the full context of everything to do with what I'm about to say, but I overheard something yesterday, right? So I was listening to Punch Drunk stream, right? Because Punch is a huge Teofimo advocate, right?
Yeah.
And it was after he lost, and I heard Punch was walking around, and he walked by Teofimo Senior, who was talking to somebody else, and I heard something that really hurt me on the inside, because I heard him say, "I lost my check." Now, I want to know the full context of that, because just on the surface, he referred to his son as a check.
The son is a check. Oh, Teo Senior?
TLC, yeah, because that's what it sounded like. Like, I'll send you a link on Messenger later, Dan, on the, and I'll give you the timestamp, and you can just hear him go, "I lost a check. I lost my."
I think he knows he's gonna get fired from the looks of it. He knows he ain't gonna be his trainer.
It's not even about getting fired. I think it's more so like, I think he's referring to his son like being the check. I don't know. I don't know. It could have been because there's no context behind it, right? That's all you hear.
He might have dropped the check, might have dropped that in his pocket, and
he might have gotten because, as we know, in cashless society, they're handing out checks these days. He might have done.
Might have lost the check out of his pocket, man. Them old timers, they always carry their money with them. So they give him the check. They gave him the check after the fight. You know what I mean? Like Eddie Hearn, and then they give you a check after the fight. Like, that's how Matchroom pay you. They pay you a check. Yeah. So you might have lost the check, so they have to do it again. That's what you meant. No, seriously. Yeah, because someone was telling me, Ted Bammy was telling me, I think, or Isaac Chamberlain, when they fought, and they say, what Matchroom do after the fight? They don't pay you in cash like our promoters do. They pay you by check. Matchroom says it's staked out to Matchroom check. So they give you the check after the fight. So that's what you might have been talking about. You lost the check for the money. You know what I mean? But then they have to pay him out another check. That's what that means. I think that's what it was. Because Matchroom do pay by check.
Yeah, they do. That's probably what they do, man. But yeah, I have to dissect that interview since you sent it over to me on Rival.
It's not even an interview. It's Punch's reaction, but you hear Teofimo going by in the background.
Oh yeah. By the way, speaking of Punch, shout out to Punch, man. But I think he scored that fight even. I don't know why, but I thought
it was a draw. I thought they were going to do a draw as well. I thought that.
He got
the knockdown.
You know, here's my thing, Dan. Right? Punch scoring it even tells me who won. Like, shout out to Punch, because to be honest, when you're a real supporter and fan of somebody, it's really, really you find extra rounds in there. You find extra rounds. I know guys who had Fury Wilder won a draw.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, let me just say this though. After the 10th round, right? It was pretty much an even fight. But after that, Kamboses swept the 11th and 12th round. If you're gonna try to give TL one of those rounds, then I don't know what fight you were watching. No way he won the 11th, and no way he won the 12th. He lost those rounds clearly. Why? Because he punched himself out trying to get Kamboses out in the 10th. That's what happened to him. That's what happened. He didn't really have much left after that. So
my thing is that here's my thing. When I look at my card and other people's cards, I gave George the 2nd and the 8th, and a lot of people didn't give George the 2nd, or they didn't give him the 8th. Now my card was 7-5. So if you gave George the 2nd, if you gave Teo the 2nd there, that's a draw.
Yeah, fair enough. But I gave George the 3rd round instead of the 2nd because I thought Teo came back in the 2nd, but in the 3rd round, George it took over 3rd, 4th, and 5th. He took over. So that's how I saw it. But
Teo's an idiot. He's an idiot. Why didn't he hit him to the body? Like he just, but he does nothing. Ooh, he's going for the right. He's trying to take his head
Well,
off.
I guess the reason why he didn't want him in the
body.
body because he was worried about the left hook counters that Kamboses was
No,
hitting
no,
him
no, no,
with
no.
all
The
night.
Gambos on the back foot now. He knocked him down. He go for the head. He should have snapped into the body, stiffen his legs, and then go to the head. He's an idiot. He ain't as, and then he's talking shit as well. Like, he ain't the most smartest. He's not very bright, man. I see Oscar De La Hoya, all them old timers, right? When you get a man hurt, you go to the body so he can't recover, and then you take out his head. Like, it don't make no sense. You just keep. So that's why he recovered, because he didn't hit him in the body. He let Gambos. He's got a good skill. He's got a good engine. Just stiffened it. Now Gambos recovered. Man, Gambos is smarter than him, man. He ain't too smart. He ain't too smart.
Well, yeah. Let's move on to the next topic, guys.
Okay.
Real quickly, though, I'm not sure. I'm sure you guys have seen the interviews, Deontay Wilder's and Anthony Joshua's latest interviews. I'll start with Deontay Wilder. He did an interview a few days ago on his wife's or his fiance's YouTube channel, Telly Swift. She's got her own channel. And I will say this, yeah, it was a softball to some extent, but she did kind of ask some very good questions. I mean, it wasn't, yeah, I mean, you know, Deontay, he usually does. He liked to ramble a lot, but in this interview, it seems like he answered the questions more direct than he does normally on any other interview. That he gives whatever platform he goes to. But she did ask him once. She did ask him, "Are you? People want to know, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue to fight, or are you going to focus on other things?" He started to ramble, and then she circled back that question. Now I have to ask you again, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue to fight, or what are you going to do? And he said, yeah, I'm going to continue my career. I'm going to fight, more likely Trevor Bryan, Robert Lanius, or Andy Ruiz, one of those three. So I thought that was it was a pretty good interview. I mean, I know the Fury fans will went near hijack that video and start commenting on that, but it is what it is. But I'm not sure if you guys saw that interview. What's your thoughts on that?
I ain't seen it. I ain't seen it. That's news to me.
Well,
but I'm glad he go fight them opponents. Like, they're easy fights for him to make. I won't be surprised if one of them beat him, man, because I don't know where his head's at, man. With Malik in his corner, I don't know what he will do. It's like,
well, he seems like he's in a good place. He was wearing a cast on his right hand. Obviously, it was due to that injury, the knuckles. But he did say he had
that Helenius guy in his camp. So why you want to fight him for? You sparring him. He's a sparring partner.
Yeah, I mean, you do need a confidence building fights after you've gone through like 4 or 5 grueling fights back to back. So you do need that.
Helenius might beat him, man. I'll put money on Helenius. I don't know where Wilder's heads at after the way he got beat down by Fury. Yeah, Helenius might beat him, bro.
Yeah, we have to wait and see where his head is at this point when he go into the fight, but we'll wait to see, because as Kamboses' father said, and we've all said this for years, boxing is 70% mental and 30% physical. Yeah. And so we have to see if Wilder does have that mentality going in, thinking he could beat anybody regardless of the losses. So we'll have to wait and see. But Anthony Joshua, I guess this is the one we're really gonna have to talk about. IFL gave an interview yesterday. They were in Dubai for the card that happened there. I haven't really spoke about that because that was more of a showcase card. Badu Jack was the headliner. He fought some American I never heard of, obviously obscure American at cruiserweight. But anyhow, Joshua was asked this. Coogan asked the question. He asked Joshua. He asked him, "Hey, just want to ask you something about this step aside, the story that's going out. Have your team ever approached you with that? In other words, allowing Usyk to fight Fury?" Joshua said, "Look, they don't come with that bullshit. They know not to come with me with that bullshit. But if the money is right on a business sense, I will consider step aside."
You know what he said?
That's what he said in the same sentence. And Coogan was confused. Like, well, wait a minute. You're not ruling it out. How can you say it's bullshit to come in with that, and yet you're considering it? Then Joshua was going through his riddles and his tangent. He wasn't answering the question straightforward. So, and to me, it seems to me, and when he was asked about Usyk, he was like, he kind of shook his head. He didn't even want to talk about that. He was like, you know what? I got to wake up every day still thinking about that. I honestly really believe he's not mentally ready for that fight. I also believe that it tells me two things when he said that I might, if it makes business sense, I will step aside. It tells me, one, that they may consider doing it. They may step aside, or two, they may decide to go ahead and forget about the rematch with Usyk and just go somewhere else, go another direction. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, EJ?
Nah, the first thing he said was right. The rematch is gonna happen. Mentally, he's already mentally checked in. He's gonna take the fight. Now, he don't mind listening to a proposition, but he's already made up the mind they're gonna take the fight, because if you take the money and you fight for money, you got money. Like, that don't mean nothing. You need to take the fight and go back in there. Like, I know you feel his brain ain't right, but then that Joshua's always come across aloof. Like, you can't really work. Even when I interviewed him a couple of times, you can't really work out how the man is, because he's when he's in the ring, he's a different animal. You know what I mean?
Right.
When he's in the ring, he's a different animal. And the only thing I can say when it came to Joshua, they got the game plan wrong, and it comes down at the highest end. Dan, at this stage, when you get into the fight, you have to get the game plan has to be right. That's why he's looking for another trainer. Was trying to look for another trainer to give him the ingredients that he needs to get him over this situation. That's all it was. But I feel like no, they're gonna take the rematch. Money. He's still gonna get decent money fighting him. And if he gets the belts back, then he can start commanding the big purses. I mean, he's still be selling out stadium. I don't know if this fight's gonna be a stadium fight no more. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, man.
After that
I think might go back to the O2. I think might go to the O2.
Yeah, because we know a lot of AJ fans are not happy about that performance.
Yeah. I ain't lying. Yeah, he did. He lost a lot of fans on that one. So I think if they're smart, let's do an O2. Bring it down and bring the scale down a bit. You know what I mean? Just bring it down a bit, and then for the Fury fight, then we can go back. But you can't honestly say, I don't know, man. I don't know how you go into a fight like that and you're happy. He seemed relieved getting through the 12th round. Like, he thought he won. Like, he was shocked. I was like, dude, bro, like, in your corner's not telling you you're losing the bloody fight. I mean, what are you doing? And I've been in the corner there, because I was on the amateur fights on the weekend, and my guy wasn't doing what I thought he should be doing. And the other trainer I'm with, lovely, great stuff. And that's what Joshua was hearing from one of the trainers in the corner. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so the fighter thinks he's doing the right thing, but I knew, nah, it's not. And then when the scorecard was ready, it was a split decision, the 3-2 split. They had 5 judges in amateur boxing. He lost. And I said to him, you weren't doing what was required. Now, the other guys, they did what I asked them to do, and they won clearly unanimous decision. So at this point, Dan, it's all about strategy. So, mental preparation is what it is. But I'm trying to say it comes down to the strategy. And that's why Joshua needs trainers. No, I don't think he's going to take no step aside money, because that's even weaker. If he takes that, people gonna look at him like you. Well,
here's the thing, though. He even acknowledged that in the interview. He even said that, I do understand if I take this step aside money, then I'm gonna get ridiculed for it. But at the same time,
exactly.
If it makes business, it makes sense, I'll consider it.
Listen, Dan. Hey, listen. Let me put it this way, right? I ain't gonna rule it out, so I'll leave it as that. But I just don't think that you're a fighting guy. You love fighting. You know what I mean? The guy beating you. You love challenges. The guy beat you. You should have a chance to honor the contract and get your belt back. But the good thing about it, Dan, Joshua's going to decide when and when he takes that rematch. So that's the good thing about it.
Well, yeah, and he does. I mean, look, is it in the contract? He has that right to determine that. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, me personally, based off that interview, I think they are kind of going that direction. You know what? It'd be best not to take the rematch with Usyk right away. I think you need to just push this back a bit further, get some things together, and then we can go back at it. It looks to me that they might look another direction and take it into a fight before they go in that rematch.
No. That's not happening. That's definitely not happening. They're gonna leave this fight like spring, let it out, and then Joshua decides, okay, we're ready to go back into camp, and that's it. Because that's what Klitschko did to Fury. You know what I mean? Fury was like waiting around, because then his thing is Usyk was out a year, so you gave enough time for Joshua to beat him, but the strategy was all wrong, man. He was, man. He's like how the heck you ain't holding that guy and battering him like close quarters, man. I don't know if you ever seen Sin City. And there was a little guy who was a cannibal, and he was jumping around, and my man Mickey Rourke put the handcuffs on his gotcha. Yeah. Then that was it. He battered him. So this is what Joshua needs to do. He needs to handcuff him, keep him close, and batter him. Don't allow him to spring around and dance and stuff. Stop. Don't try to play his game.
Yeah, and you know what? Big Boys brought up a good point, because in the middle of the zone broadcast, they did suggest that Joshua do not take the Usyk rematch. They told me he should go ahead and fight Zhang. DAZN, the commentators, they say Joshua should not take that Usyk rematch. He should go ahead and fight Zhang Li from China.
Oh, why would he fight that? Why would he fight that guy for, man? Why would you fight that guy for? Did he beat that guy? I thought he beat that guy already, man. Didn't he beat that guy in the Olympics?
I don't think did they fight in the Olympics in the qualifier?
Yeah, that guy was in the same Olympics, you know. No, actually, no, he was in a different bracket. No, he was in a different bracket. He was in the same. They were in the same Olympics. No.
Yeah, they were talking about him and Joshua fighting for a long while now. But
but that guy never did anything. Like he never did anything. Nah. Listen. It's not happening, right? All that. I mean, like Joshua going in, dude. Nah, not happening. Not happening. The fact us fans are not happening. If I hear anything contrary to him not doing that, I ain't gonna be happy. So I'm not
Let
happy.
me just say this, man. Look, if he gets ridiculed for it, then I get it. But to me, I think it'd make perfect sense for him to go forgive out Lucy, because I don't think he's running that rematch. I just don't see how he could do it at this time. If he just go back, correct the flaws and mistakes you made in your technique, work on that with the new trainer, so that way you guys can get some interim fights in between, see how the relationship works out, like Lennox Lewis did. If it works out, then great. Then go back in there against Usyk, because the belts are still going to be there no matter what. They're not going anywhere.
No. You're not having no interim against no one. You're going right back in there and beat him up. That's what it is. That's what it is.
If he loses again, it's going to be very devastating.
If he loses again. But what I'm saying is that's it. The only thing I can say to him, is that you look. You have to see this. You think Joshua can do a better job? Would you agree?
He probably would do a better job, because usually fighters do come in, winning the rematches. They do make some good adjustment. They do make some adjustments.
And the adjustment is make it close and personal, and keep the pressure on the guy. That's all you gotta do. Don't be playing no boxing match. You gotta keep it close and personal. You know what I mean?
That's why he need to get a sports psychologist involved, because somebody should tell him you're gonna get hit. Don't worry about that. You got
no. Worry about no. When you keep it close and personal, the guy don't hit that hard. He doesn't hit that hard to change.
Oh, here's Joshua a few times in that fight. What do you mean don't hit that hard?
Joshua been hit harder than him.
He don't hit harder than Joshua, but I'm saying that he could hurt Joshua. You saw that.
Let me ask you a question. If Joshua hits him clean and Usyk is clean, who's gonna hurt, Joshua or him?
I would say Joshua would be hurt. I say Joshua, I say Usyk. You
got to take risks. You got to take risks, though. That's
what I'm saying. I agree with you on that. When I'm saying that Joshua, in his mind, doesn't want to take that risk. He said to himself in one of his latest interviews, "I don't want to get hit." He's worried about it.
He's a challenger, so you ain't got no choice. He's a challenger. you want your belt, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That a sports psychologist need to talk to him and let him know you're in the hurt business. You're going to get hurt.
Why you need the sports guy college? What's that going to do?
Well, because somebody needs to tell him that you stop worrying about
getting hit. A trainer could do that. You don't need no sport. No, bro, listen, the amateur. You know, it's funny, right? When the amateur fight, you think they got any sport? My guys are amateurs, right? You think they got any sports psychologists talking to him? No, exactly. So you just tell the fighter what he needs to know. Fighter needs to put pressure on him, keep coming forward, and unload the clip. That's what it is, man. Keep putting the pressure on him. You know what I mean? He ain't keep moving around. Just keep the fight. Tie him up. That's one thing he never did. He never tied the guy up, Wrap your arm around him and batter him. Yeah? Yeah, that's what I do. Bro, I got a heavyweight, right? Yeah. Before the weekend, I tell him, right? Yeah. Take your time, work your way in. When you're inside, batter him. You know what I mean? When he's trying to run away, go after him. When he tries to get out, because most people don't like that pressure, then they want to go backwards. When he's going backwards, go after him. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to tell you. So he at no time Joshua let Usyk dictate what was going on in that fight. He did. Usyk controlled the fight. So you got to take that away and go to your game plan. Like, you got to chase after that guy, man. Yeah. Put people beating him. Don't be worried. He's going to get hit. I agree with you, Dad. But I tell you what, I'd rather you hit him than he hit you in that respect.
I agree. But hey, Big Boy said that, look, Joshua did land some clean shots on Usyk, which he did, and Usyk was still there. So
but look at Usyk's face, though.
Yeah, but he was still there, though.
I'm not saying he got. Let's reiterate. I'm not saying he gonna knock him out, though. But that's how you need to win the fight. I wasn't saying like if he not get knocked out in the process, then fine. But that's how you need to win the fight. You know what I mean? What he did in that fight was follow and let the guy. He chased. He was letting the guy dictate what was going on. That's what happened, right?
Right.
So you got to change the whole strategy. You need to hunt him, man. You the challenger, hunt after him, go after him. When he get close, batter him inside. You know what I'm saying? He's a pure boxer, man. Batter him, man. What's wrong with you? You ain't got no sense.
Yeah, I get.
You want to
Yeah,
fight clean fight?
it's good strategy, but like I said though, somebody should tell Joshua, somebody should shake his fear of getting hit. That's what his problem is. He's fearing that. So somebody needs to get that, take that fear away from him. But anyhow, speaking of that, on Joshua's situation now, there's a video that surfaced that he asked Clifton Mitchell last minute advice before the opening bell. How did he beat Usyk? You see that video?
Yeah, that means that. But I saw that in the thing. But I know what that was. There, he goes.
What was that?
That means Joshua didn't believe in his team. Then that means he don't believe in his team.
Obviously, he didn't believe in his team, or they just couldn't properly prepare for, because it was.
He don't believe in his team. He don't believe in his team.
It's just that it was very difficult to find someone who could replicate that style of Usyk. Very difficult. You can't find anyone who could do that.
Yeah, but you don't want to replicate that style. You just need to let me tell you something. How you beat Southpaws, you pressure them. They're the same as anyone else when you're up close. They're the same. Yeah. Because if you let Southpaw, but look, dictate and Caviar now, they're gonna beat you. Look up on Hopkins, he beat Taba and he beat Keith Holmes, right? You can't let a Southpaw dictate any fight. You have to pressure them, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to pressure them and bash them to the body, tie them up and beat them. You can't let them do what they want to do. If you let them, you're gonna be picked off, and that's what Usyk did. He picked him off, and the trainers was telling him, boxers, wouldn't it be? I remember the statement they were going, wouldn't it be great if Joshua could outbox the boxer? So they actually planned in their naive heads, that we're gonna outbox this guy and get credit that Joshua's a master. But rather than get the win, they wanted to play some sort of mind games here, and that just read right into Usyk. It's like, okay, if you want to do this shit, this is what I do.
Yeah,
and then. And Johnny Nelson came out with a statement. He's an average southpaw. People took it for that.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. He's not an average southpaw. But if Johnny Nelson insists on that, he never really elaborated on that point. He never really elaborated what is average southpaw.
He did. I saw an interview with October Red. He elaborated in terms of there's other southpaws. There's other southpaws are better than him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which ones? Wait, hold up.
Parnay Whitaker's a better southpaw.
Who?
Parnay Whitaker.
I mean,
Parnay Whitaker's a better southpaw than Usyk. Are you crazy?
Yeah, I agree. I may agree with that.
All right, and that's what he was talking about. He was talking about he's an average.
We're talking about fighters of today's climate.
No. He says southpaw. That was it. He says average southpaw. That was a statement. And then he went on and said there's other southpaws in boxing are better than him. All right, that's he is. He's just southpaw. He's average. He ain't nothing special.
Let me just say this. I agree with Big Boys. I agree with Big Boy on this one. If you suggest that Joshua pressure Usyk like we all think he should do, some of us would agree. However, he doesn't have the style or the durability to apply that pressure. He gonna get knocked out if he tries to push Usyk. I'm just being real.
Okay, Dan. So you told me, right? He didn't do that in that fight. So you told me, what would you suggest then? Because you told me.
I would suggest
you don't think what I'm saying. He has to
say this. I agree with that. I agree with the strategy. But the thing is, he's got to trust his chin. That's a problem. You don't
have to worry about that. You don't go into a fight worrying about your chin. You don't go into a fight worrying about your chin.
You need to tell Joshua that, because that's what
he's worried about. I only tell Danny, when you're fighting, your chin, Danny, you know you're going to get hit, right? That's the part of the fight, right? He's been at World Games. He's been at the World Games silver medal. He's been World Games finals, Olympic gold medal final, winner gold medal. He 2-time world champion of the world. You got at this stage, it's about the game plans, buddy. You know what I mean? That's he had the wrong. You can't tell me the game plan he executed was rubbish. It was rubbish. So the next game plan for me, I'm saying what he needs to do. Now, is he gonna do that? We're gonna find out. But I'm just saying that end of the day, any other game plan other than putting pressure on that guy, that's what he needs to do. Now, is he gonna go do that? Well, that's what he needs to do. So, I mean, that's what we're gonna find out.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna find out, but I really don't think that rematch is gonna come off in March. I don't think it is. Based off what he's saying, he don't look like he's ready for it. I think they're gonna stall this out, buy some time to get him fully prepared. That's the way it looks like to me. Either that, or they're gonna eventually just pull out and just go a different direction. It's either one of the two situations. That's the way I look at it. That's the way I'm seeing it. That's just my opinion. But hey, I've been proven wrong before. But yeah, I will say though, his mind is not right now, based off what I've been seeing recently of him. And in fact, Eddie Hearn was asked about this yesterday too at the Kamboses fight. He was asked about the fact that, hey, why did Joshua unfollow you in Matchroom? All he has is his sponsors on his social media page. What's that all about? And Eddie Hearn was like, I don't know about that, but okay, but we still talk.
Well, Joshua unfollowed the match room.
Yeah, he unfollowed everybody. The only people that he follows on his social media page is his sponsors. That's all he follows.
Yeah, well, I know why that is, because he don't want on his timeline. He don't want to see no bullshit. That's probably why.
I know he don't want no.
You got all them people talking their rubbish. That's why. You don't want no distractions. That's what it is.
Fair enough. I think that's a good point. That's a good point. But he's got like 20, 30 sponsors, man. Oh, dude, that's a.
Yeah, when you press your Twitter and you see people say, "Oh, Joshua this, Joshua that," having their opinion, he reading that mess up his head. He's in a fragile part of his brain set, and you're right, he's fragile a bit. But the thing is, most guys are like Teofimo's not. He's fragile. He over there talking reckless. I look, most guys are when they lose, but you know how you get it back is like you come with a good game plan. You win, like and that's what this boxing thing is about: executing the game plan and coming through the thing. You know what I mean? The trainers, them trainers, he didn't believe in them trainers anyway. Because why you asking Clifton Mitchell? Would you know about? Because he said to Clifton Mitchell, "Would you know this guy? Would you know about this guy?"
Yeah, I mean, it just. Well, here's what I don't understand. If you don't trust your team in that situation, then why the hell are you gonna go out and say that? Well, I'm still gonna keep it around. I'm gonna keep them around. They got to sort out their disagreements with each other. I'm like, what? You didn't trust your team with their game plan by asking Clifton Mitchell last minute strategy how to fight Usyk. How the hell are you gonna keep him on for? I don't understand. I really don't understand what Joshua's thinking right now. In a situation like that, you will have to change your team. I know he says he's getting a new trainer, but I highly doubt that he's going to get rid of Robert McCracken. I think what he's going to do, he's going to keep him around. He's going to try to add another head to his camp. Instead of having 3 heads in his camp, he's going to have 4 heads. I don't know how that's going to work, man. I
don't think Robert McCracken is the problem. I think Joshua's the problem. Was it Robert McCracken who added trainers, or was it Joshua?
Joshua, I think, was adding trainers.
All right, Joshua's the problem. Joshua's the problem. He trying to please a lot of people. Like Joshua, like because see Joshua, right? I remember I was around the dinner table back in the days, right? If I said, Joshua, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm there. If I turned up there, then what? You know what I'm saying? he was cool. You know what I'm saying? Like Joshua's one of them guys that he's an easygoing guy. He don't like to say no to no one, and he just wants to please everyone, and that's the problem right there. So when you're interpreting how he is, he wants to try and make everyone happy, but at the same time, when he loses, he's like, "Yo, why did I lose? They need to sort it out, my team, because they're the ones who put the game plan together, and I followed it, so I followed my team." And at this in GB, and then people are like, "But hold on, why you think for yourself? Didn't you know you was losing?"
Exactly. I was going to get into that. Yeah, forget about that. If you know you're losing, fuck the strategy. Throw that out the window. You got to take matters to your own hands.
And he didn't think he was losing because the guy was saying, "Great, lovely, you're the guy." I don't think he thought he was losing because that dickhead was telling him he was winning. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Did you hear the guy? Lovely work. Beautiful, beautiful.
Brilliant boxing, AJ. Brilliant boxing, AJ.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. They were giving him false information that he thought he was winning. Now he was doing all right though, but the strategy, I was like, okay, you playing this cat and mouse game. Okay, when you gonna step up and put it on him? Never did. It's like, yo, that was your whole game plan. Shit, that's crazy.
Well, all I gotta say is that rematch, if it does happen sooner as they projected in March, I don't think Joshua will be ready in time, and I'll stand firm on my position on this. He's not winning it. I don't see it going any differently based off what happened back in September. So, but anyways, man, let me get up out of here. I think we've gone over everything, man. Hey, thanks for having you on. I know Unrival just left, but hey, thanks, man. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, man. I don't know what's coming up this weekend, but this year's ended pretty well. Big upset. I know YG is crying in his bed, and some of the other New Yorkers and that. But listen, Australia, he got a chance to get it back. I think he should take the rematch. But I appreciate you letting me come over, Dan, and everyone in the chat. I hope you was very entertained by me and Dan and Unrivaled. And make sure you sub and press the like button. Take care, Dan.
All right, man. Thanks, man. Peace. Take care. All right, guys. Thanks for coming in. Shout out to Mala, Big Boys. As always, Fight Dr. Blood, that guy, Ralph Unreal, Brown Gone, and Olaf the Mighty, and And Rock 89 and Stormy B, salute, man. All you guys that coming in, I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. We're out. Peace. Stay safe.